Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. And this video I want to put a little emphasis on that one thing leading to another in the sense that sometimes you get started in something and you enjoy it and you're fascinated by it, and where's it going to go? And sometimes you forget that there's often lots of information out there on this topic. It takes some digging sometimes to find it. And I had things that I wanted to share on a couple of previous videos that I forgot to. So I'm going to try to do that in this video. First of all, Edward Curtis. I first learned about Edward Curtis from this book, and I picked it up because of the cover, and Touch the Earth, the title, resonated with me. This is compiled by T.C. McLuhan, and she researched and gathered quotes from various First Nations leaders who expressed their opinions about their way of life. And the book has got photographs on nearly every page. People gathering and amazing portraits of people. And some of the quotes are long and some are short. And it's an amazing, gives an amazing overview of the First Nations people. And I opened this book up in this bookstore, and the photographs and reading about a few of the comments, and I was quite taken by it. And then I happened to look up, and there was this woman on the other side of the aisle. The bookcases went about shoulder height, and I had a book on this side, and she had a book on that side, and I don't know if my mouth dropped open or what, but she was beautiful. And it was wintertime, and she had on in this store her parka with one of those hoods. The hood was down, a sort of fake fur that would be part of that parka. And I got up the courage to speak to her, and it turned out that we both had been to hear the same man speaking the night before. And that led to us exchanging addresses. This all happened in maybe 15 minutes. And that led to us getting married in time and raising a family of 4 wonderful, wonderful children. You never know where one thing might lead to another. And Curtis, once he's famous, people, I mentioned last time that people like President Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, invited him to come to their summer place and photograph his children. And this is a book told from the point of view of one of the sons, The One Bad Thing About Father, by F.N. Monjo. And it's quite delightful. It's in the I Can Read History book. And they did science books, and they did Frog and Toad, and so the book is like that. Talking about the American Revolution, I wanted to share this book, but I couldn't find it on the shelf where it usually was. And then I have found it subsequently, and wanted to put a plug in for it and for a novel, another novel. This is called 1776. This book was produced more than 50 years ago, and the musical, Peter Stone and Sherman Edwards, about May 8th to July 4th in Philadelphia, when they were debating and arguing and trying to take the vote and sign the Declaration of Independence. Interesting, probably just about 50 years later, we get the Hamilton. But this is a wonderful account, and I've gone back and referred to parts in it. They really captured in dialogue things. This is a book that my wife and I read the first winter we were together. It's called Arundel by Kenneth Roberts. And this is a novel which looks at an expedition. This expedition was led at the start of the American Revolution. The ship sailed up to where Arundel was in Maine, and then they traveled up the rivers, Kennebec, and connected, and ended up making it to Quebec. And was just a wonderful, wonderful, amazing cast of characters. There's a chart of what defenses of Quebec City, which is on high bluff with the rocky, but it had been defeated before. My wife enjoyed reading these stories of myths told by people in the west coast of, primarily the west coast of British Columbia, the island of Vancouver Island. It's called Daughters of the Copper Woman, and she praised it to me, and I read it, and I'm going to praise it and share it on to you. Recently I did something on longitude, and this is another book that one might want to read. This, I think, is a classic that got other people involved in wanting to write it for younger people. This is quite an imaginative historical novel, in that one's not, when Fletcher Christian went to Pitcairn Island, they first went back, these are the mutineers. Some of them wanted to return to Haiti, but Fletcher Christian wanted to start his own place, find some island that was deserted, and so they took with them breadfruit. They took with them people from Tahiti that wanted to go with him, and later, about 10 years later, so he went back to England, and she's conjecturing, this is Anne Rinaldi conjectured that maybe he took his youngest daughter with him, and what if he had? What if? So she's researching the times and everything. She's done, as I've mentioned and praised her before, does a great job on historical research, a lot about the American Revolution, a lot about Civil War, and other things. She's spread out to doing things from England and this particular book. And here's one along the same lines by Linda Spalding, Daughters of Captain Cook. I showed you this book about David Thompson, the map maker story of David Thompson, and the Northwesters, by Marjorie Campbell, about the fur trade. But I forgot to share with you a Marjorie Campbell biography called The Savage River, and that refers to the what we now call the Fraser River, named for Simon Fraser. And this is about the 61 days of exploring down the Fraser River. There's one place there where it gets, the sides of the river, rocky sides, get so close and the water gets compressed into there that it's churned up and so fast flowing. It's been nicknamed Hell's Gate. And this is a book, once a person gets an interest in something, let's say it's Tom Thompson and his places he went and what he found and I'd like to know more than in these books, which were designed for like 14, 15, 16-year-olds. There's Jack Nesbitt has written an extensive biography that could be the next place where one thing leads to another, and the same for Alexander Mackenzie, explorer. There's books written about him. This one is by James Smith, and so you know, some interests that you get when you're young, you may never forget them. And sometimes come back to them later on in life at different points. I mean, the people that write these books do a tremendous amount of digging and research to find out all kinds of things about that time period and about the person's life. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.